Another thing that will be happening at the beginning of your large group time is going through the guidelines. The easiest way to start the guidelines is to sing the song Head, Shoulders, Knees, and Toes, and then help the children remembering how they should be behaving during their time together in We Worship. And then a short prayer would be a great way to transition into the story time. Here's a couple of tips for those of you that will be telling the stories. There are a lot more tips, though, on your hot tips sheet in your packet. It's important that you limit your actual story to 5 minutes and no more than 7 minutes for the actual story. Children in this age group really have a very short attention span. Every single story that's in the curriculum asks us to present with motions that the children can do to participate in the lesson. It would be great if you could please use those or another creative way to engage the children. These motions may be really silly to you, but even something as small as making a happy face or a sad face can really help a child to understand and stay focused in the lesson. After the story is a good time to practice saying the verse of the day. A good example that Diane Zimmerman, one of our seasoned We Worship teachers, has used in how to help children memorize the verse is to begin with the children saying it in a whisper and then having them gradually build up to saying it in a loud voice. And you start out with them sitting in their chairs, and then when they're saying it loudly, they're standing, and then you can go back to sitting in their chairs and whisper it. This helps them to say that verse 6 or 7 times and really begins to help that verse take hold in their minds. Then go ahead and pray with them one more time, and then there will be dismissal from the large group time. The children go out first, and the youngest children need the most help as they're leaving the classroom. Sometimes they try to leave with the older kids, so it's important for all the teachers to be paying attention at that point. After story time, it's a great time to go outside or go to the gym or use one of our open hallway areas to play a game with the children. They really need time to move around, get those wiggles out. It's important that you think in advance about whether or not you're going to be going outside or to the gym. And if you need help with this, you can always check with myself, Diana Mitz, or Patty Larson, Pastor Patty Larson, if you need help with that transition. I would suggest that you leave directly from story time and go outside or to the gym. And you would want to encourage the children to be quiet and to be in somewhat of a good line as they're going to and from these locations. When you get to the gym, an easy way to help the children kind of get under control before you would play a game would be just have them line up against one of the walls to give instructions on your activity and not just let it be a free-for-all. After gross motor activity, or you could do this as soon as you're done with the story time, it's important to do an application activity. This could be an activity that's a craft, it could be a block building activity, it could be a science activity, but the important part is that you are dialoguing with the children about the story as you're working on it, asking questions like, what is the connection between the story and the activity that we are doing? You can ask the children questions one at a time or as a group, and then ask the children to retell the story as you're doing the activity. These are all good ways of reminding them of what they have already learned. As children are getting ready to be dismissed, it's important that they be engaged in an activity as children's parents are coming to pick them up. For example, every week on the clipboards there are worksheets, activity sheets that have a story and a coloring picture. You could just have the children sitting around the table and listen to that story as parents are picking children up. One team member should be engaging the children in that activity at the table or on the rug, and then the second team member should be in the hallway with the door closed to the classroom. And as parents arrive, you should call one child at a time to the door, double check the security stickers, and leave them on the door frame as you go, and then put them in the baggie on your clipboard when you have completely dismissed all of your children for the day. Classroom management is a really important part of We Worship. I think personally, as a classroom teacher, that the easiest way to have the most fun without disruptions is that you keep the class busy with activities, and then you'll have less disruptions. Again, it's also really important that you stick to our schedule. The more consistent that we can be from week to week with that schedule, the better. The children really get into a rhythm and a routine, and they know what to expect next, and that helps them as you move from one activity to the next. And if you have questions about this, you're always welcome to ask Diana and I. In your packet, you will find some more information about classroom management. One easy way to go about classroom management is to remember to give choices. For example, if a child, Donna, is having a problem with listening during story time, you could say, Donna, would you come sit with us at the table, or would you rather go play with the blocks? And then that puts the power with the child so that they know that they do have control over their choice. Then if they still can't make the proper decision, then you would say, Donna, would you rather come up from under the table or sit in timeout? It is okay to put a child in timeout in We Worship. Rarely does it happen, but every once in a while it is important to have a child spend some time alone thinking about what kind of a choice that they've made. If a child is consistently having problems in your We Worship class, it's important to let me know so that I can kind of keep an eye out with the rotation of leaders that we have. It does make it a little bit more difficult from week to week to know who is having problems. So if you're letting me know that, that's really helpful. In your packet also you have a sheet called Communicating with Parents. And due to the large number of volunteers that we have on a rotating basis, it's really important that we be on the same page with how to communicate with parents if there's been a reoccurring behavioral issue during We Worship. There's a conversation guide for speaking to the parent at the end of We Worship or over the phone on the same day. It's really important that you memorize this script and have it in your brain for when it's necessary to use. I would really encourage you to keep the conversation straightforward and not emotionally charged. Use a tone that is matter of fact and really shows that you care for that child. It would also be helpful if you began and ended the conversation with a positive comment about the child. You would really only use this conversation with a parent if you had had a repeated problem of disobedience in We Worship for those expectations that we have for the children. Please use your good judgment. If a child has just had a bad day, then let it go. But if he or she really truly needs parental help in correcting this issue, yes, go ahead and talk to the parents. Again, please look at your packet for that information and have that little script for how to communicate with parents in your mind. In your packet, you also have a sheet called Hot Tips. These are some really important things for you to know about We Worship, and there's some really easy ways to make your time with the children go better. A couple of things I want to highlight from that Hot Tips sheet. Please do not use any activities involving food due to the serious allergies that some of the children in We Worship may have. It's important that you keep your doors closed once all children have entered We Worship. It really prevents escapees. I've had it happen to me on several occasions that a child just kind of sneaks out. So I would encourage you to make sure you close your door, and it makes me feel more comfortable too. If you have a parent who is tentative about leaving their child, it's an easy thing to do would be to give them a pager from the nursery and then write the pager number on the back of the child's security sticker. There's lots more hot tips on your sheet in your folder. I would really encourage you to take the time to read through those. We do share our classrooms with the preschool, so we want to be aware that at the end of our time in each classroom, we should clean up our things and put them back in the Sunday school cabinets. It is also really important that we only use the items marked Sunday school or We Worship, and that we don't use preschool items as we are on separate budgets for those items. Thank you for your help with this. Thank you so much for taking time to view this video. We really appreciate your commitment to We Worship, and we pray that you'll have a wonderful time serving the children of our church. Thank you very much.